Hello, welcome to a brand new special edition CKP inside CKP. You know how it is. Anyway, we are here with the one, the only, the fabulous. What up, Todd? Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be doing this with you on my launch day.
Launch day. So, y'all, this is our very first live launch on Inside CKP. So Todd is letting us make him a guinea pig. So I feel really good about all of our choices right now. It is awesome. So I think we're going to start with some plugs. Is that right? We want to make sure everybody knows what we are here to do today. Correct?
Outstanding.
Amazing. All right. So I'm going to do a quick rundown and then we're going to run through some cool stuff so that you know all the things you need to know about Todd. So we are going to do a Q&A. We are going to hear a reading. I believe the rumor is we're going to get the whole first chapter of
The
Dark. Yes.
Chapter 1.
I can't wait. I may or may not have been reading Khyven the Unkillable when I was supposed to be writing. So thank you. Thank you for that.
What chapter are you up to?
I am on chapter 4.
Okay.
No, I'm just like, I have to not hear spoilers.
It's kind of doing this right now on the roller coaster, and it's just about to go like that.
Thanks for that. So, who needs sleep anyway, right? So we're going to do the Q&A. We're going to do the reading. Also, y'all, there are going to be prizes. Todd, do you want to show off those prizes?
I would love to show off these prizes. Okay, so first of all, let's start off with actually the very book that I'm going to be reading from today is Khyven the Unkillable, which is, I get backwards in the camera, a finalist for not only the Colorado Book Award, but also the Colorado Authors League Award for Writing Excellence. And this is the case bind. CKP does this fantastic case bind version. So this is a case bind version that is going to be signed and personalized if you want it. This will be one of the giveaways. Okay, so that's one of them. Another of the giveaways is going to be this. I'm going to back up so you can kind of see the whole thing. So this is Khyven the Unkillable and Lorelle of the Dark covers blended together by the inimitable Rashid Alakroka. Not only is this a limited edition poster, but it is signed, as you can see, by me over here. That's my signature. And then over here, that is Rashid's signature. That is a rarity. He lives in Kuwait. So he's in the States right now. He's here for a little while. And I got him to sign like 12 of these at Starfest when I was there. So this is a very rare poster, not just because of the picture itself, but because it is also signed by the artist as well as myself. So that is a nice little piece to have. And then finally, and perhaps even most excitingly, so in the comments, tell me how many of you have read the book so far? Let's see. I'm looking at the comments. I want to say hello to some people here as I'm saying this.
Yes.
Quincy's here. Quincy, he's one of the founders. What? There you go. Mark is here. Yay, Mark, also one of the founders of Eldros, when I say that. Let's see. I don't know who One Jester is, but hello.
That's Dan Bridgewater. He's fabulous.
Dan.
Right?
I know
Dan. Yes.
I know who Dan is. And Maya's here. Hello, Maya. And Haley. Oh, Haley's. Are you done with your road trip? Haley was on a road trip, and nice. I think she's probably at her destination now. And so let's see who else we got. Oh, and Tara. Hi, Tara. And okay, I think I got them all. Anyways, so those of you who have read this story know about the Amulet of Noxanon. The Amulet of Noxanon is what allows you to navigate the Noctum without dying, because there are a million beasties in the Noctum, and if you go into the Noctum and you don't have one of these,
y'all,
eaten by creatures, and today you can win one of these. So this is the authentic Noxanon coin put into an amulet by Becca Gardner. This is her contribution right here. She found these online, and so we have an actual, and she found the chain as well. So we have an actual Amulet of Noxanon to give away today. So if that's not enough hype for that particular toy prize, then I don't know what is. So those are our prizes today. So I'm very excited to give away.
So good. So good. So as you see, the comments are popping up at the bottom sometimes. You can follow along the live chat. We'll also show some here. So the one, the only, my husband, Jeremy Como, the producer of Inside CKP, is doing all the behind the scenes work so I can focus on Todd and his awesomeness. So he'll be pulling up chats as we go. So if you have questions, also, we have got some Q&A planned. But your questions are going to be, I am sure, a delight. And so we definitely want to work those in either before or after the reading. Okay, so let's do some plugs.
Can I interrupt for a second? Are you going to tell them the criteria for what it takes to win the prize? You should probably tell them that so that they can prep now.
That's right. You have to get your mind right. 1, do you want to tell them or do you want me to tell them?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. 1, funniest comment. So I know already, like, Mark and Dan are just gonna make a mess, and I love it. So not funniest comment,
not punniest comment, Becca.
Because then Becca would win, is what I've learned. Becca is a punter.
The playing field for everybody else. Rob's not here to give you a run for your money, so you know.
Yeah, yet. Oh no, is he already like getting ready for his wedding? So
maybe I'm not sure. I think Rob he's a man in demand, so.
That is a great point. So 1, funniest. 2, best question. Not necessarily the one that makes Todd blush, but if it does, it does.
If you can actually make me blush, I may add a 4th, some random prize thrown in there.
Challenge is probably going to be accepted by this chat. And 3 will be random comment. So if you are commenting, you are in the running for one of these awesome prizes. So congrats to you guys. There's already at least 15 of you who are in that run. So that's a good one. Okay, let's plug some cool stuff so we can dive into the next cool stuff. Yeah.
All right, so we're plugging these things. Okay, so this is my Facebook group, recently named Edge of Your Seat Epic Fantasy, which is the brand that I'm starting to put out there. So essentially what it means is that this is fast-paced epic fantasy. And a lot of epic fantasy, you find kind of a slow burn as they build the world. I don't do that. I'm kind of different in that respect, in that, as I think everybody here can attest to that has read the book, it moves fast. Khyven the Unkillable is a fast-paced novel. So if you want to join my Facebook group, screenshot this, and I think it's in the upper left-hand corner there. It says Facebook groups 176249136990979. Nice. I think I got that right. Pamela Johnson is here. Hello, Pamela.
Hello.
And Chris Mandeville. Hi, Chris. I didn't see you sneak in there.
Nice. Oh, we've got some good
blush already. Sorry. Mark's comment is pretty funny. I don't know if we can put that up. Okay, so this is my Amazon page. There it is. I'm not blushing yet. Not yet. I'm naturally complected this way, so I'm not blushing yet. Okay, so this is my Amazon page. And you can find everything that I've published on this page. Looks like by sales order at this point. Of course, Lorelle, I don't think they've updated it yet, because I think Lorelle is now currently in the lead for my sales right now, last I checked, because we've had a pretty good launch day so far as sales. So here's another place that you can catch me. This will, if you sign up to follow me on Amazon, the Amazon page, like this page right here, see where it says follow, the old follow button, you'll find out whenever I release something. So that's definitely something to do. We've got more people. Let's see.
Yeah.
Liam's Lyceum. I'm not sure who that is. Hello, Liam's Lyceum. I'm glad you ordered a paperback. Woo! Read Khyven first. You're going to enjoy that as well. Let's see.
Join me.
Jonathan. Chris Kennedy is here. Hello, Chris. How's it going, Mom?
Hi, other Chris. Here we go.
All right. Oh, so hey, we got a new one. Okay, so this is my Facebook author page. So this is the one that if you search for me on Facebook is probably going to come up, and it, of course, has this gorgeous backdrop, also done by Rashid Alakroka. That dragon was just, literally a work of art. I mean, I told him, okay, so I need her to be creating a dragon with magic, and it needs to be made out of trees. They need to be like the trees kind of mashed together and create a dragon. And this is what he came up with. And I could not have imagined it better myself. And I like to fancy that I have a pretty good imagination. But boy, he just took it and made it exactly what it needed to be. I love that picture. So that's my
gorgeous.
Facebook page. I typically post things in my Facebook author page first. Got about a little over 1,000 followers there, and I want to make sure that they know what's going on. So Chris has relegated himself to the other Chris.
Well done, boss. Well done. Very graceful.
Outstanding. Okay, Rodri, 2112. Nice. I like the handle there. Hello,
I think that's Rob. Isn't that Rob?
Is that Rob? I think you're right. I think it is Rob. Hello, Rob. Yeah. The man in demand is online. I'm impressed. Thanks for showing up, man. All right. Rob, thanks, Mark. Mark is constantly clarifying things for me.
You know, he's on top of the world. It's pretty great. Oh, no.
Fahnestock. I'm not sure who this guy is. I read
it seems weird.
Your dad very often. Oh, he might win the blush prize. I don't very often. Oh my God. It's like at least once every 5 years. What do you want from me?
Right, man. Dad coming in hot. I like it. That's awesome.
Stan. L'Oreal of the Dark, is that what it says, Jonathan? Yeah, if you look up Lorelle of the Dark, I tried this on Amazon. It will essentially, if you write out Lorelle of the Dark, Lorelle, it cuts the E off. Boom, cuts the E off, and then it gives you a bunch of luggage and like cabinets and things that are apparently there's like a whole line of Lorelle cabinets without the E, and they're like all of the dark cabinets they show you is what you get. Even if you put in books, like I don't want to see cabinets, I want to see books. Correct. It will give you Lorelle cabinets, the dark ones.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Amazon. Thanks. Wow. So makeup and cabinets is what happens. Also, Mark Stallings is threatening to redshirt your dad. I see.
Yeah. Well, Dad needs to be careful. Dad steps in and starts making too many comments. That's what happens. You become a character, and oh wait, I was going to say you become a character, and he's the villain character, but that already happened, didn't it, Dad? So I know we've got a lot to cover, but here's a quick story. So one of my books called Summer of the Fetch, which actually my dad adores. He actually is one of my biggest super fan for that book and Ordinary Magic. And he buys copies and hands them out to, people on the street. He'll just go down, and he'd be like, here, take this book and read it. So anyways, I called him up before I published Summer of the Fetch. I'm like, Dad, I gotta tell you, there's a character in this book who is the dad of the main character, and it's a fiction story, but a lot of it is based on like some of my life. And I'm like, I made the dad kind of the villain character, and I just want to make sure you're okay with that. And he's like, really? Well, that's cool. He's like, send me the book. So I think that was when Dad got really on board with my writing, is when I finally made him a villain in one of my books.
Nice. This is all I ever wanted. God, do you remember your teenage years? This is what I've been working for.
That's right. I love it. Paybacks for hell, right, Dad?
That's right. So good. Awesome. And also I will say, so we have questions planned, guys, and I'll let Todd talk about this in 1 second. We're going to go off onto sideways tracks. There's no other way to have a conversation, I think, if Todd's here and I'm here. Yeah. So here we go. All right, Todd, tell us about this free short story.
What's that? Oh, the free short story. Oh, yes. Okay. So if you sign up for my readers group, there is a free short story that comes along with it. It's called Urchin. And it is not in the Eldros universe. It is in the Tower of the Four universe, a separate fantasy universe. And it centers around these 4 characters that you see pictured here. And the short story is about Vale, who is second from the left. She is the street urchin who goes to the Champions Academy and learns how to use magic. She also, just as a point of interest, is the sorceress in that backdrop with the dragon that's made out of trees. So she has quite the character arc. She starts off with very little power, and she becomes pretty badass by the end. The short story that you will get if you sign up for my readers group, if you kind of take a screenshot of this and go sign up for my readers group, is her origin story, how she got brought to the academy in the first place. And it is very possibly the best short story I've ever read. I believe in giving my new readers group signees the best that I can give them, just to give them an idea of what it is that my writing is about and how it is that I do it. So it's a really good short story, and it'll get you excited about the Tower of the Four universe, which actually was a finalist for the Colorado Book Award last year and winner of the Colorado Authors League Award for Writing Excellence. So Khyven, the vote's still out. We won't know yet June 25th and June 19th, respectively, whether he's won or not.
Excellent.
And this is my website, toddfahnestock.com. That'll be the easiest one to remember. There's not a string of 18 numbers at the end. It's just toddfahnestock.com. And if you go to the website, actually, the readers group invitation will pop up. It's like the pop-up, and it says, get a free short story, sign up for my readers group. And my readers group, you can ask. I think Pamela follows me at this point. I know Becca does. Mark reads them. They're fun stories. I tell stories about my life. I think the last one that came out, I climbed on the roof of my house. Like I was like up there battling a branch that had fallen during a snowstorm. So there's fun stuff in there. Probably my next one will have a story about me throwing my back out on Sunday night. That's gonna be a chapter at some point.
A little bit for everybody, all things. Also, just a quick pause. So you had the Lorelle of the Dark cover on Facebook. Y'all do follow him on Facebook if you don't. And it was animated. Is that this Mandy in the chat?
Yes, that's Mandy in the chat. Hello, Mandy, and thank you so much. Oh my gosh, everybody is raving about your animations. They are gorgeous. Super cool. So thank you so much for those.
And she also, Todd, you were chatting, so you might have missed it, but she said she wanted to animate that combined poster.
Yes, we can get that done.
I would like to see that, so I think that should, that should happen.
Can I talk a little bit about what's happening here? Just
please.
So Khyven the Unkillable was book 1. Lorelle of the Dark is book 2. And in Khyven the Unkillable, there's a little bit of a spark between these two. Like not a literal spark as you're seeing here, but, sort of romantic spark. Or at least on Khyven's side, he's like, really into Lorelle. So as we go into Lorelle of the Dark, there is definitely more of a connection between them as Rashid has taken and made into this visual amazeballs thing that's going on here, right? Where you've got that steel plate of Khyven's shoulder flowing in with these blue tendrils of fire into Lorelle's more yellow and orangish tendrils of fire in this rip that's going right down the center of her. And if you haven't read the stories, I don't want to ruin anything for you, but that is not an accident what's happening there, this blending of the two. Now, here's something else that I recently sent to him. And I think I've only told a couple of people what I discovered here. But if you look at this, I actually went in and did a little inscribing thing where if you go up and you start in the center, like right between Khyven the Unkillable, Lorelle of the Dark, drop down to where the sword is, you can draw a heart on that circle, and it comes down right to the bottom where the flame below Legacy of Shadows, and then come up around and draw another, there's a heart there. It's a heart. And I asked Rashid if he did that on purpose, and he said no, he didn't.
But well, still, I love it.
There. Oh, I told him he has an unconscious brilliance.
That's right. Really. Conscious and unconscious.
No spoilers.
Yeah. No spoilers. No, thank you. I'm on chapter 4 of the first book, y'all. So definitely no spoilers. Well, for me anyway. We'll see what happens. Okay, well, let's talk about you, Todd. We're going to come back to Lorelle and Khyven, but let's start with you. And you're an award-winning author. You've got all these books. You've got all these fans raving over here. How long have you been writing, and what was your path to being a published author?
So when I was 18, I was in high school. It's interesting that my most recent branding that I mentioned about the edge of your seats epic fantasy is the brand that I'm using right now. And I mean, it goes straight back to my first book, because the reason I wanted to write a book is because I was like, I want a fantasy novel with more action in it. That was literally what I said to myself when I decided to write my first book. And it was this amazing sword fight after sword fight after sword fight, inspired, passionate piece of trash that I wrote when I was in high school. I thought it was so good, and I wouldn't even go back and look at it now. I'm sure it's just so horribly bad.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great, so I wrote a second one, which was also really bad. But I thought it was great, and I wrote a third one. You get the step and repeat.
Yeah, that's how we learn. Yeah.
Round about book 12 or so, I think I actually started to kind of put the stories together in a way that are kind of fun. Maya says, write the story you want to read. Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I do. I want more action in my stories. So I am the edge of your seats epic fantasy author. So that's how I got into it, as an independent study. Actually, I took an independent study class, and I saw that comment. Love the Millennium Falcon watercolor. Oh, in the background. That is awesome. That's so
thanks,
awesome.
Dave.
Yeah.
There's a TARDIS right above it and an Enterprise above that, but
Ah, can we angle the screen or no?
Yeah, but I don't want to hear. We got ooh.
That's so nice.
My inspiration. I can't fix the camera, but you keep talking.
Oh, did I screw it up for you?
It's fine. We'll figure it out.
Sitting way down
Small
here.
earthquake. Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. You just need my forehead anyway.
So yeah, so that's how I got started, and I remember finishing. So I jump all over the place. My apologies. I remember finishing my first novel the summer after my senior year in high school. Now, remember I said Summer of the Fetch has some elements in my life that kind of match up, and in that book, the scene starts where he's in the house where he grew up. It is being foreclosed upon. His mom has gone to one part of California. His dad has gone to Indonesia, and he's there alone. And that was actually real. That was happening for me. And so that was when I finished my very first book. So this very pivotal moment in my life where I was like looking out from high school going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do next? And I finished my very first book. I remember details of that. It was summer. There were like the weeds were outside were starting to go from green to brown as the summer heated up. And the curtains on the windows were this sort of white and blue flannel. Like they were light. They were not made of flannel material, but they were like that flannel pattern. I just remember them blowing in the breeze, and it was just the perfect temperature outside. And I finished my very first book. Little did I know it would, there would be, almost 30 more at this point. So yeah, that's how I wrote the first one.
Oh man. Okay. So Todd, a thing I have heard is that there is a term for what happens to readers when they read your books. Was there awe or shock in there? Do you remind the people?
Becca coined that term. Fauna-shock you've been fauna-shocked, I think.
You've been fauna-shocked.
Twists in there, and she keeps talking about how I like to maim my characters. Like I can't get through a book without maiming some character or other.
They have to learn their lesson.
It holds true with both Khyven the Unkillable and Lorelle of the Dark. Unfortunately, she's got me on that one.
That's awesome. Well, I'm thinking in part 2, it sounds like that's also real emotion. So you've got the action, you've got the fun, you've got the maiming, obviously, and there's also real emotions in there. There's real stakes for your characters, and I imagine at least some of that comes from that through line of you write partly from your life. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it started off, I wanted to write the heroes that I wanted to be. I mean, like if I think about my early books, there's this character called Wildmane in the Threadweaver series. Anybody in the comments ever read the Threadweaver series? That's one of my earliest series. But anyway, it starts with Wildmane, continues with the Godspill. Threads of Amerian is the third book, and it wraps up with God of Dragons. But the main character in that is this 1,400-year-old demigod with the crackling energy of a sleeping god in his veins. He can do just about anything. But of course, what he wants to do is die. Right? He's like gotten to this point in his life. He's 1,400 years old, and he's lost the love of his life in one of his epic battles. Anyways, but he can handle anything in the physical world. It's the emotional stuff that's bringing him down. And when I wrote that character, I was pretty damn scared of the world at large, right? I mean, like I kind of mentioned, my parents had divorced. I was kind of alone on my own, kind of getting out into the world. And there's a lot of scary things out in the world. And I wished that I had a magical sword, this burning, fiery sword that could cut through anything, and that I, could heal like Wolverine, and I had the strength of like, Colossus, and that I could just handle anything. Like that's what I wanted to be. And so I wrote that character, and you can see a little bit of that. Every single character I've ever written, like there is an element of something that I want to be in those characters, for sure.
That's phenomenal. I feel like that really helps make characters come alive for people. And it is clear that your characters come alive for people. I'm pointing the wrong way. The chat's that way for me, but things are, who knows? Yeah. I'm going to scarecrow it.
That's the way you are, but it's actually this way, right?
Correct. Right? It's fine. We'll get there. So good. Okay. What is your writing process? How do you take that little piece of your soul and get it out in front of people?
So I do what I call node writing. And if I ever write a book about writing, it'll probably be titled that, or that'll be like the main premise. Now I pull from a lot of different things. I think that I am a dyed-in-the-wool pantser who believes in educating himself on everything I can get my hands on. So at this point, I plot and I pants. So essentially, I'm a huge Save the Cat fan at this particular moment in my life. I mean, I've looked into, the hero's journey. I know that inside and out. I've looked into My Story Can Beat Up Your Story. There's lots of structure books out there, right?
Yep.
And Khyven Eikenberry, who I think maybe on the
Amazing
chat,
one.
somebody referenced him. I haven't seen him chat yet, but he's got a brand new story structure book out, which is great. I believe it's The Mercenary Guide to Story Structure, if I'm not mistaken. That's the title.
Right.
Just kind of throwing that
Chris,
right off the top of my
Chris
head.
will tell us. Yeah,
And-
it's good.
yeah. And I've been in his live workshops for structure, and he does a great job. If ever you get the chance to take a workshop from Khyven Eikenberry, I mean, like, he and I hate one another, but I can't
Right, obviously, mortal enemies.
He does a good does a good job with the story structure. Anyways, so I kind of compress all these things together and use them just at my whim, right? So I'll start off with a Save the Cat structure, just to kind of figure out where all the pieces are, all the emotional nodes. They also call them beats, like in the beat sheet. I would call those emotional nodes. But I mean, essentially what they're there to do is, bring the emotions of the reader to a fever pitch, right? It's like, here's where I want you to really get hit with this particular thing or that particular thing, and to make sure that you're building up to it in a way that it will really come off well. So I love doing that. But so I will write out this roadmap for myself, and there's Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. The 3-act structure. Everybody knows there's also the 7-point plot structure. Sure. I'm familiar with that one as well. But I use what works in the moment for me, because again, I'm a pantser and I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff. The Fahnestock Eikenberry blood feud.
So many lives.
Senselessly lost. You just do not want to get between Ike and I when we're at a conference. I mean, like, the fur flies. It's just, it's scary.
Yeah. But all they want to do is dance. That's what we know now. So it's going to be a dance off at the end. That's what somebody thought you were going to say. Amazing.
I don't know. I was a dancer in college. I think I'd have the upper hand on Ike. I think that's what we should do. We should do a dance off.
When's the next con that you're both at? Because I would Becca and I should MC this, I think.
Well, I think we're going to be at Factory Con. I'm not sure if Ike's going to be there, but I plan to be there. So we may have to do a dance off, as well as who are we coming up with this notion of bad dialogue at bad dialogue night, where you walk into
Casey, yes.
Casey and I, we're gonna get a group of people, and we're gonna walk in and we're gonna talk to people like bad dialogue. So coming in and saying to Marisa, "Oh, Marisa, well, as you know, you and I met 2 years ago at Factory Con, and since then, exactly. So that's what we're gonna do." Khyven, Ike's on. Okay, dance off. It's on. Okay,
it is happening, y'all. You heard it here first. You're welcome. Right. So writing all the beats, the nodes. You get them. You've got your notes. Dance
revolution machines can be had. Outstanding.
Fantastic.
Haley's going to be there with popcorn.
I love it. Oh my god.
Maya will have probably an apoplectic fit if she is a part of the bad dialogue aspect. She's not going to be able to suffer that, I don't think. So we'll have to.
For folks who might not know, Maya is an extraordinary editor, and therefore I think would be stabbed in the heart multiple times from bad dialogue. So good. I have really taken us off track on the dance, and I'm not sorry.
Ike's going to be stretching. He's going to start stretching now. He's going to start stretching now. So Ike, I just wanted to let you know that, as a friend, I threw my back out for you 3 days ago. So I got to recover from that. So it's going to give you a good enough head start. I'd like to be a pal to help you out.
As you already know, guys. As you know, Bob. All right, it's going to be great.
I can't even remember what the question was.
We were talking about your process, your writing process.
Oh, my process.
You map out the nodes, you get some beats.
It just seems so long at this point. Okay, so
you dance it out.
So Save the Cat, and then there's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1, I usually keep about 70 to 80% of what I come up with in the Save the Cat moment, right? Act 2, I usually keep about 40 to 50%. And by the time I hit Act 3, when I'm writing through it, it's all been blown to shit. I got 10% to 20% is what I'm keeping, and the rest of it has all been thrown away, and I've reworked the whole thing.
There's a lot
Mark
of
Stelling says Battle of the Broken Old Men. All right, Mark, you're next.
I think he wants in. I think that was his volunteer.
I think he does want in. Let's add Mark to the dance off.
Okay. It's gonna be so great, y'all.
Becca says the dance-off will end with 2 thrown out backs.
You know, we might not live stream it is all. We want to make sure that everybody survives, and that will be an after the effect. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so great. Oh man. Okay, but by the time you get to the third act, it's willy-nilly, right? No plan survives contact with the enemy or the page, apparently. So that's fair.
Yes. Okay. So so then I'm very character driven. So the reason that I go off track by the end is that the characters make decisions. Okay, so Dad says, I want you to stand up so I can see your t-shirt you're going to send me. Okay, apparently I'm sending Dad this t-shirt now. And it's good. I'm gonna stand up and show him. Okay, so this is, okay, I gotta move the right direction. Okay, so
nice, you got it.
Here there be giants. Okay, and the best content, right, Becca? Am I in the camera? I can't see.
A little, yep, there we go. There we go. We got it. Yes.
Okay, that was almost too much for my back. I'm just saying.
Oh no. Okay.
The sacrifices I make for you, Dad, right? Don't make me make you into a villain again.
Again? In a new world this time. It's going to be good. Oh, man. That is a great trick.
That's right.
Yes.
So, so we're still in process, right?
Yeah, we're still in process.
That's all we ever do is process. We're just processing. So anyways, the characters come to life, and they essentially make the decisions about where to go, because I believe very strongly in character-driven writing. That is my jam. That is what I do. If there's one thing that I do more than edge of your seat epic fantasy, it is character-driven stories. And I think anybody here who's read Khyven or Lorelle or any of the other books I've written, they will attest to that as well. It's like, man, the characters are pushing the action forward. And I love that, because that's one of those things. I mean, Stephen King, a famous pantser, like the reason that he believes in pantsing and recommends pantsing is because you'll surprise yourself. Like the characters will come up with things that you wouldn't have thought of consciously. And obviously it's all coming from my mind, but there are hidden corners in everybody's mind that you haven't visited yet. So sometimes those things will pop up. So anyway, boy, that took a long time.
No, that was great. And Maya, it was such a good amount of time. Maya anticipated my second question. I'm telling you, these editors get in our brains.
Like, I mean, can anybody keep up with Maya? I don't know if anybody can.
I mean, Tara is also a phenomenal editor in the chat. So CKP is blessed with these amazing editors.
I know.
So it's pretty great. But anyway, so she's in my brain. Here we are. And my follow-up question to your process was, I heard you had a different approach when it came to Lorelle of the Dark. As Maya asked leadingly, who was supposed to be the main character of book 2, what happened when you were writing Lorelle?
Yeah, so I mean, Khyven the Unkillable is the chosen one, right? That's his trope. He's the one that's sort of destined to be this linchpin in this meta plot with these giants, right? At least as far as the Noxodon storyline is concerned. And so I was, he was going to be the main character of every single story. Now he's going to have a very robust cast, as you can see in Khyven the Unkillable. Ren, we've got Slater, we've got Vaughn, we've got Lorelle, we've got all of these fantastic D&D style party characters, right? And so he was supposed to be the main character of the second book, and I was going to start fleshing out the other characters. Well, just Lorelle came in and stole the show. I mean, like I was going to start with, it was going to be like 60-40 Khyven and Lorelle. And then pretty soon it became 60% Lorelle, where it's like, she's the one who's got the arc. Khyven went through his fire. He went through his transformation. He started off this selfish, out for himself, power hungry, money hungry person. And, he kind of goes to the point where he wants to protect his family. Like that's sort of, he finds a new family and he wants to protect them. He's, he kind of goes to that moral code. Well, he's gone through that. Now he's the hero that he needs to be in order to, well, not quite. Like there's some things he's got to go through before he can be that linchpin. Whereas Lorelle obviously had just a whole trunk load of things that she hasn't dealt with. I mean, come on, she's so stiff in the first book. It's like she's obviously repressing, years of emotion, and we get to see that start to come out. And she just took the story. She just took the whole story and ran with it. So yeah, it was supposed to be Khyven's story, and it's not. I mean, he's prominent in the story. Like I love every time Khyven shows up in the pages. It is really fun to see him go to work. And it's actually, I think, really fun for the reader to see him when you're not inside his head. The way that other people perceive Khyven. I mean, like, he is a dangerous man. Like, you see this guy and you're like, okay, you don't want to mess with that guy. And when you're in Khyven's head, it's like, oh my gosh, I could die. Oh my gosh, I could die. Oh my gosh, I could die. But outside, it's like, how did he do that? Like, how did he succeed? How did he win?
Right.
So
rage. That's awesome.
Roll here, says Dan. Vince Vaughn. Mark. I'm just reading some comments as we go through.
I know. There's some shenanigans happening over here. They're talking about not wanting to explore the dark corners of your mind, which, you know, I don't think you get a choice if you read the books, guys. So you're already, it's a consenting relationship at this point. So you're in.
The hidden commas of Todd's mind. Yes. I think Maya's had plenty of commas that she had to remove from my writing so far. God, what was that? God help us if we I missed that one. Could you put that back up there? God help us if we ever have to. Okay, gotcha.
Yikes, Rob, coming in hot. And then did you want to talk about how you got into writing the Lorelle story? Because I know you had like a record couple of days in writing.
Yeah, record couple of months, really, for me, or at least one record month, where I averaged 2,300 words per day. Now, that's average. I think I had a stint of 10 days, where I wrote 5,000 plus words per day. That was quite the jag. And that was in the latter part of the book. That usually doesn't happen early on. That happens when it's like, I got this.
Yes.
I'm going
to
crush it. But yeah, it started. I had my only bout of writer's block last year in 2021 for the first time ever. And I think, honestly, and I put this actually in one of the little free books that Chris Kennedy put together, where he's like, he kind of solicited from a whole bunch of the writer pool.
Oh, yeah.
Kennedy Publishing. Yeah, you probably have one laying around because I know I do. To ask that, what's your best writing advice? And my best writing advice was, you can't believe the bad reviews, but you can't believe the good ones either. You got to let them lie. Just let them be what they are, existing out in the world, and you can't let them affect you. You can't let them get to you. And the thing was, this was told to me by Margaret Weiss, one of the authors of the Dragonlance Chronicles, long, long ago. And I totally got the first part of it. I'm like, okay, so you can't let the bad reviews get you down. I get that, Forget the haters, push them back. Keep doing your thing. But aren't the good reviews, don't you want those? Don't you want those to pump you up and inspire you? And I didn't understand it until this year when I was nominated for all these awards. Like, I had 3 nominations for these. I only entered 2 contests. I got 3 nominations for these books that I was putting in it. And I won one of them, right? So I was like, okay, obviously I'm doing something right? Like, I'm responding and then got total vapor lock because I wrote the next book, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, I got to make something at least as good as the previous book. Froze me up. Like, I couldn't move forward, right? And I'm the first guy to tell young writers, write a crappy novel. Yeah. Don't think about it. Just get it down on the page, because the thing that kills most authors is that they don't finish. So you got to get over that hurdle first. You will improve if you continue to write novels. So write the crappy novel, because even if it's your first novel, and even if it actually is crappy, which a lot of times we think our stuff is crappy and it's not.
It's fine.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, so I was heading into the next year after having failed to write the 3rd novel, The Slate Wizards, in the Whisper Prince series, which is another one of my series. And I got like 55,000 words and just totally locked up. And then threw it all in a trunk and went into the holidays. It's like, okay, la 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 la. Nothing's bad is happening. I'm in the holidays and it's all good. And then I hit January and I was like, I'm too fat. That's what I said. I'm like, okay, I need to lose some weight, and I need to get serious about it, and I'm gonna do it right now. And I'm gonna work out an hour to an hour and a half a day, and I'm gonna do 100 push-ups every day, and I'm gonna write 1,000 words a day. You see how I threw that in there? My subconscious.
Yeah, you're like at the end. Yeah,
threw it in there in the background. It's not about writing. Like, I was looking away from the writing, going, "No, I don't see you. I'm not looking at you." And then I threw in the 1,000 words a day, because I know I'm capable of writing 1,000 words a day. I'm capable of writing 2,000 to 3,000 words a day if I'm really going on. Obviously, for at least 10 days in a row, I was capable of writing 5,000 words a day.
Yeah.
And so I just made this really low-level base mark, and I would call up my friend Chris Mandeville every day and be like, I made 1,000 words. Actually, I made 1,500 words. This time I made 2,000 words. And and
I'm with you, Becca. It's fine though. We all have our own things in our heads.
Not for that, but for the fat thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it really went smoothly, and I averaged about 1,500 words per day for the month of January. And then I was in. Then I was rolling.
Nice. You're back in it. Yeah.
I was really kind of pushing forward. And that's when I kind of got into February and was writing about 1,500 to 2,000 words. No, it's probably about 1,000 to 1,500 words a day. And then I'm like, I know where I'm going with this, and I could get it done. Like I have 60,000 words. I could get it done in 10 days if I just cranked it up. Because I think I'd had, like, for about the first 15 days of the month, I think I'd had about 1,000 to 1,500 words average. And then I did a 5,000 word day. And then I did a second 5,000 word day. And I'm like, okay, all I need is 8 more and the book is done. Right. So I really poured up the team and got it done. And so it was a good month. It was really a good month.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Yes, that's exactly the comment I wanted to put up. That's so great. I feel like that's true of so many parents though, right? Like children are worlds unto their own.
Right? You only find out later.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, that's what that was? Wild. Okay, so we are about to go into the reading, but I want to ask one more question first.
Yes.
So as folks have heard you talk about the founders of Eldros, how should people approach the Eldros Legacy? How should people read it?
Okay.
What is the deal?
First of all, let me give a shout out to my fellow founders. What a joy this project has been. And yes, I know we've had some moments where we kind of conflict about what we ought to do here and there, but that's all part of the natural creative process. And I cannot think of 4 other people that I would rather have jumped into this with. And I was the Johnny come lately. I was the 5th one asked to join the group. They already have this going on. And if not for another author stepping away because of other obligations, I wouldn't be here at this moment talking about Lorelle the Dark. It wouldn't even have happened. But so the founders are Rob Howell, Mark Stallings, Quincy J. Allen, and Marie Whitaker. And I've known some of them for a very long time, Marie and Mark for a good length of time. And some I've known of and didn't know really well until the last year, Quincy. And some I didn't know at all until this last year, Rob. And it's just, we create this dynamic that is so fertile for creativity. You would not believe the conversations that we have that just build this stuff up, right? So the whole thing, it's just such a great group to work with. Now we've got all these cohort authors that have come in, and I don't even know, I could list them all. I don't want to miss anybody, but there's a lot of them, and they're all freaking awesome people. It is just, it is popping. We have a creative meeting every 2 weeks, and some of the ideas that get jumped up in there. Okay, wait, we got a serious question. So serious question, how much fun are you having forging a big shared universe? What are the biggest pros and cons? Okay, we will get to that. So
that's a great question, Dan.
Yeah. So first of all, how do you read this? I got this comment on my Facebook a few days ago. The president of Colorado Authors League reached out and said, okay, so wait, Khyven the Unkillable is the first book in the series, and Lorelle of the Dark is the 5th book in the series, but it's the 2nd book in the Khyven the Unkillable. What the hell? How do you read this?
What do I do? Yeah.
The answer is in just about any way you want. It's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and so far, every single one of the books is a complete story, right?
Nice.
So it's like Thor and Captain America and Iron Man all have their separate movies, and then they all come together in the Avengers, right? So that's what's going to happen with Eldros Legacy. So Eldros Legacy is we've got 5 different continents, and each founder that I just mentioned has their own continent, which they get to make the rules. They get to figure out what's special about it, and then they get to write these stories. And then the cohort authors are now doing guest novels in each of these various continents. So each continent has its sort of slate of cohort authors that we've kind of got like these little armies. It's like the battle of the 5 armies. I think when we come to FactoryCon, we're going to have our T-shirts and spears.
Oh. Shoot.
Wait, do I battle right between all of the different continents?
I'll just bring popcorn. We'll do that.
We got a dance off. We got the thing.
The battle.
And I think Becca's going to be there with a giant shield. She is the paladin. She's going to be fighting for Noxanon, tooth and nail every single. You can't stop her from fighting Haley wants a tug of war. Oh no! Wow, man!
You can't just call people. No, you can. That's how we do things. Yeah. That's awesome.
That guy was made to wield a battle axe and anchor a tug of war. There's no question about that.
That checks out. Yeah.
So, okay, I'm completely off my question. Oh, okay, so there are 5 novels at this point in the Eldros Legacy, and there's going to be one every month coming out for the foreseeable future. And each of the continents is going to write 4 novels in their various storylines. So the Khyven the Unkillable, Lorelle the Dark is the Noxanon metaplot storyline. Okay, so these are the main characters that are going to do the whole big throw the ring into Mount Doom at the end of the big series, right? Yep. Now, at book 4, the continents, which are separate right now, are going to suddenly be connected through the Thuros. Now, the Thuroi is the plural of these doorways. A Thuros is a singular doorway, and that's what you see on each cover. Each cover has that frame of the Thuros, right? This is a teleportation doorway, and they're all closed right now, at least to the general populace. Now, when we hit book 4, those are going to get flung open, and all these continents are going to intermingle in all kinds of ways. Alliances, wars, conflicts, just everything is going to start to cut loose. But up until then, we've each got our own little D&D party that's being built that will then start to interact at that point, which I cannot wait for that. We've already got some subplots going on. I've been talking to every single one of these founders about how does Khyven relate to your storyline, and how does Ren fit in with your storyline. It's a hoot. It's going to be great. So that's how you read it. You can jump in anywhere. I recommend if you're going to read a first book, read one of the first books in the continent that you're reading. But Khyven's a pretty good starting point. I think everybody, even all the founders would agree that Khyven's a pretty good starting point for the whole series. If you're going to start the series, start with Khyven, but read them all. Everything is going to come into play, right? I mean, and every single one of these books is awesome. They are all awesome. So don't miss out.
Don't sleep on this, because soon it's going to be like $70 and you're going to be like, oh no, how do I read all of this? That's right. Keep caught up.
Says, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Quincy says ogre trumps paladin.
I mean, it depends on if the dance battle happened first or after, I think, Quincy. I'm just saying. Do you want to answer Dan's question before we do the reading or after?
I'm sorry, which question?
He asked the serious question.
Oh, yeah.
How much fun? Yeah.
How much fun are you having forging a big shared universe? What are the biggest pros and cons between doing a shared versus doing your own creation? Okay, am I having fun forging a big shared universe? No, it sucks. It is like the most boring thing. It's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. I have a fairly active imagination, and all it takes is just a little bit of a spin to spin that wheel even faster. And every time I talk to Mark, every time I talk to Marie, every time I talk to Quincy or Rob, that wheel spins hard, or any one of the cohort authors. I talk to Becca pretty often, talk to Haley, talk to Courtney. I mean, just like all these different ideas that we've got going on just keeps spinning the wheel. So it's just never ending. And then what was the second part?
Pros and cons.
What was the
part? What are the pros and cons? Can we put it back up there?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the pros are you have a never-ending source of inspiration and ideas. Like nobody is ever without an idea. The cons are I'm just going to say floating whales. I think everybody's going to know what that's about. The cons are there are some disagreements sometimes about what should be and what should also not be. Although I think I haven't seen those creative disagreements that much once we got rolling. I mean, usually those were in the beginning.
Planning stages. Yeah.
So puking floating whales. That's right. We had an idea, a pretty cool idea about something recently that apparently whales hack up these owl pellets every now and then. And
ambergris, right? Or ambergris? I don't know. Isn't it? It's amber.
Ambergris. Yes, that's what it is. Ambergris. I've forgotten the word. And they are really valuable. Like you can get thousands of dollars for these things, for this whale spit up. And so we were thinking about incorporating that into something. I'm not sure if we're going to go that direction, but anyways, these are the ideas that pop up all the time.
Yeah, I love it. That's right, Haley. I know stuff. Random stuff. It happens. That's okay. It's because I'm sneaking my way in. I'm slow. I won't be joining until probably next year, but it'll
you're not
Speaking my
going to
way.
join. Not going to join Noxanon until next year. Is that?
Oh, is that what's happening? Okay. I don't know, man. I was kind of hoping Marie and Mark Stallings would fight over me, but
Well, here I am now, and I've got the mic, so I
yes.
think
Oh, see,
for
dance
you.
battle for me. Amazing. Awesome. Okay, so this is not about me though. This is about Lorelle of the Dark.
Yes.
Todd, do you wanna read us into chapter 1?
Yes. I just realized that this is not what I'm reading from because this is Khyven the Unkillable. I'm not reading Khyven the Unkillable.
No.
So
You're giving Khyven away.
So,
like a wedding.
I actually don't have a copy of Lorelle of the Dark in hand. So somebody throw up a comment that I can comment on while I'm
pulling up his book
from the very beginning.
Jokes on all of us. Yes, Rob's in the fight. I love it. Also, I love Marie. Yeah, we could just talk about me while we're doing this. No, just kidding. I love you all so much. This seriously, y'all, if you haven't started reading these books, if you're watching later in post, I feel like most of the people who are here with us today have read these. These authors are phenomenal. They do not know how to tell a bad story. I've met most of the cohort authors, not all, but I'm looking forward to meeting the rest of you. The amount of talent and storytelling proness in this group, it's gonna be a delight. I'll say thank you, Marie. I love you. Okay. Did I stall? Did I stall long enough?
Perfectly. That was the exact amount of time that I needed.
Fantastic.
What's your perfect Sunday? That's awesome.
Ooh.
Are we talking like?
Yeah.
Sorry, are we talking like a banana split kind of Sunday or? Anyways, okay.
April 22nd. You just need a light jacket. Okay, I'm gonna make you the whole screen, so the focus is on you and Lorelle. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Nope, no, not me.
It's you. You're the whole screen. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. You get to see a picture of my lovely wife right back there. Yeah, and then Tower of the Foreign back. Okay, so here we're gonna read. All right. Chapter 1. Lorelle crouched on the lip of the roof, her belly so low it almost touched the wooden shingles. Her knees rose on either side of her head as she leaned forward. Her ragged soul burned inside her, filling her body with flames, but she forced herself to ignore the pain. She waited half a breath, then dropped to the second-story window without a sound. Her toes perched on the windowsill while her fingers pressed against the top of the recessed frame to hold herself in place over the 3-story drop. She tested the latch. Unlocked. The secret society known as the Readers tried so hard to keep itself hidden. An unlocked window seemed strangely out of place. Perhaps they felt the whispered stories of their vengeful reputation were enough to dissuade thieves. Well, not this thief. She opened the window and slipped inside. Just below the windows, a decorative 6-inch ledge ran around the interior of the tall room. She crouched low and slid quickly to the side so her silhouette didn't show against the open window. The ceiling curved over her, requiring perfect balance to remain on the narrow ledge without falling. The most acrobatic of humans couldn't have accomplished it. But Lorelle wasn't human. Her muscles, her bones, even her blood were less dense than her heavy counterparts. A human woman Lorelle's size would weigh at least 150 pounds. Lorelle weighed 80, while her physical strength remained comparable, which meant she could leap higher, move faster, and balance her body in ways humans could never match. She looked at the huge library below. It was exactly as the Thief Master had described it, but even at that, it barely seemed real. How could this place be here, practically in the center of the city, and no one knew about it? Books and scrolls and bound sheaves of paper lined every wall. Large bookcases stretched across the length of the room, creating 7 aisles filled with untold knowledge. She surmised there were more secrets in this room than in the royal library. Neither Wren nor Slater had known about this place. But the Thief Master of the Thin Alley's Thieves' Clutch, a man named Zengi, had known. One of Zengi's thieves, the last person who dared to enter this secret library uninvited, had also known. He died for breaking into this place and stealing the mythic Plunos Lorelle also sought. The Plunos was the only way to open the Thuros in the basement of the palace that had swallowed Wren. and Lorelle was going to find it and take it. Since Wren's abduction through the Thuros 2 weeks ago, Lorelle had hunted for the key to follow. Her single-minded drive had pushed her to interrogate Vaughn and Slater, to tear through the palace library, and to visit every noble house that possessed a rare book that might contain some hints about the mystical Thuros. It had driven her to every dirty gambling house, shkazat den, and brothel where even a whisper of secret knowledge might be spoken. She barely slept, barely ate, and the ragged edge of her soul had tried its best to burn her alive. But she'd followed the alley gossip. She'd uncovered a promising whisper about Zengi's now dead thief. According to rumors, he'd held the Plunos in his hand, had sold it, and had reveled in his riches. Those stories had led her to Zengi, the master of the dead thief's clutch. Of course, thieves were secretive. Zengi hadn't wanted to talk. So she'd made him. With her fist squeezing his throat and her knee pressing on his groin, Zengi had finally panted out his secrets. He'd told her the story about the Reader Library. 3 years ago, a thief of the Thin Alley Thieves' Clutch had snuck in, even as Lorelle was doing now. He'd stolen a small casket of jewels, a book with a golden jewel-encrusted cover, and a thick, oversized coin with the royal Usaran symbol engraved on both sides. The thief had brought the jewels to this thief master, Zengi's predecessor at the time, who had taken a substantial cut as a leader of the clutch. After the clutch's fence had turned the items into gold, the thief had run to the lure of gambling and wenching to spend his earnings. 5 days later, he died in an accident. Drunk after a night of gambling, the thief slipped in the alley outside the gambling den, struck his head on the corner of a building, and passed out. That was unremarkable in itself. Drunks passed out in alleys every night in Usara. But in a twist of fate, the thief fell face first into a puddle created by a huge divot of missing cobblestone. He drowned there, his head in half a foot of water. And that was the end of him. Bad luck, Zengi had thought at the time. 5 days later, Zengi's predecessor, the master of the Thin Alley Thieves' Clutch at the time, also died. One might have thought his death a murder if there hadn't been 5 witnesses in the room of the brothel. There had been a silk scarf on the floor, tied around the base of a bedpost. Zengi's predecessor slipped on the free end while his other foot shot back to catch his balance and caught the now taut scarf. He'd stumbled and slammed into the window. It might have ended there, with a broken window and some cuts, except the window was open. Without a sound, the thief master tumbled through, plummeted 3 stories to the cobblestones, broke his neck, and died. Bad luck, Zengi had thought without much remorse. After all, it opened the way for him to take leadership of the clutch. Exactly 5 days after the thief master's fall, like the workings of an insidious clock, the fence who'd handled the sale died. On a trip to the butcher's market, the fence stepped awkwardly off a poorly built curb and turned his ankle. The resulting stumble made him lurch in front of 4 draft horses hauling bars of iron. The horses' hooves mangled the fence, and the steel wheels nearly cut him in half. Grisly. 100-to-1 fluke, all the bystanders said. Zengi got the message that time. There was too much coincidence between the deaths to assume it was just bad luck. All 3 men had handled the items lifted from the Reader's Library. The next day, Zengi's first edict as thief master was, "Leave that building alone. Any thief coming back to the clutch with goods from the Reader's Library would be expelled from the clutch and thrown into the street with his eyes put out." "It was them readers that killed him," he gasped painfully to Lorelle as she leaned on his groin. "With magic!" Lorelle had heard of readers. In her ceaseless search for knowledge about the Plunos, the term readers had come up several times. She'd also heard it back when she and Wren had lived in the Akadon forest. Wren and Vaughn had been obsessed with about anything concerning the Noctem, which had included stories about the history of giants, magic, and the human-giant war at the beginning of known civilization. The readers were a notable part of that history. As keepers of knowledge, they had been instrumental in defeating the giants during the human-giant war. After the giants vanished, the readers had promised to stay vigilant for their return. Except the giants had never returned, and the last recorded instance of a readers' conclave was centuries ago. Like the giants themselves, the readers seemed to have vanished. Except, apparently, they hadn't. After extracting the information from Zengi, Lorelle had returned to the palace to question Slater. As usual, the mage had eagerly regaled her with everything he knew. Slater was easier for Lorelle to be around these days than either Vaughn or Khyven. The mage didn't comment on the dark circles under her eyes, her gaunt frame, or the fact that she was always away from the palace. He didn't look at her with soulful, hurt eyes. Slater acted like every day was a fresh adventure, and he didn't seem to notice or care about Lorelle's state of mind. When prodded, he would talk until he was blue in the face about anything regarding history or magic. It was as though his 10 years as a spy in Vamrith's court had driven him near to mad with the need to reveal secrets. Now he did so with abandon whenever he could. According to him, the readers might never have actually vanished. They might simply have removed themselves from the public eye. Could they make people become unlucky? She had asked him. Unlucky? Slater's eyes had lit with interest at the question. Lorelle, did you meet a lore mage? Just tell me about lore magic. Oh, well, it's fascinating. Lore mages pay close attention to moments and objects that seem inconsequential. They move trinkets from one place to another for no apparent reason. They give warnings that seem like gibberish, all because they have read bits of the future. Lore magic is the art of knowing what is going to happen so far in advance that a person can move these seemingly inconsequential things to a more favorable position by the time the mage interacts with the events they've predicted. Then, by the time the future catches up with them, they are in the most favorable position to get what they want. So, lore magic makes a person lucky. No, Slater had shaken his head. Not at all. But it would look like that to the uninitiated. Lore magic is the opposite of luck. It's knowledge. It's strategically using what no one else knows. It is thinking 2, 12, 100 steps ahead. His eyes had glittered. So tell me, did you meet a lore mage? She had left him with that eager look on his face and dove out a window, back into the night. Obviously, it was dangerous to offend a mage, but Lorelle had almost beaten her hands bloody on the Thuros in an effort to get it to work. She wasn't about to pass up a chance to get to Ren, no matter how dangerous. If the readers punished those who stole from them, reaching them wherever and whenever they wanted, it was a sure bet they'd also taken back what was theirs. But even if the readers no longer possessed the Plunos, they certainly knew about it. That small though it was, could be another lead, and Lorelle was running out of time. Her insides felt bloody and tattered, like a red-hot saw blade was being dragged back and forth across her vitals. Every day, the saw dragged deeper. So I think maybe if, I don't know how much time I have for this, but I've forgotten that this chapter is really, really long. Should I stop there or should I keep going?
No, let's stop. That was a great line, especially because you name your characters. So it's like, it's not literal yet. Full transparency, y'all, at one point I did pick up my phone and I texted an author group about how good the start of this book was. And I have some deadlines coming up, so I cannot blow through 2 novels right now, but I really want to. That was awesome, Todd. That was so great.
Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so obviously folks enjoyed it. Becca was pumped that Slater showed up, although spoiler, she totally knew that. But that's awesome, as is Chris. Also, folks, so some of you may know this. Todd and Chris Mandeville, first Chris in the chat, do this buddy cop show at Superstars called First Pages. I'm sure they work together a bunch. They've known each other for a long time.
I like it. Buddy cop show. That's exactly what it is.
Yes. It's kind of, you play off each other really well. And they critique authors' first pages and help us get better. And I was just picturing their response, like as though they were the Muppets up in the bleachers, critiquing Todd's, and just thinking that's phenomenal. No notes. Just no notes. So great all the way through. Thank you for doing this. Oh man.
Our pleasure. We enjoy that.
Look at all these folks. Yes, the people agree. Well done, people.
Chris is saying she's the good cop. I don't know about that. I think I may be the good cop. I'm at least the forgetful cop. She's the one that remembers everything.
You guys take turns. You're both very good at being both good cop and let me help you with love.
So seriously, let me help you.
Seriously, I have to help you right now. You need to know this. This is very important. I love it. Okay, so there was a question. Marie asked a semi-serious question about pepper seeds. I'm not sure if we can go back and find
Was
that.
that for me?
I don't know. It might have been for the group, but I didn't know if you guys had like an inside joke about peppers, so I didn't want to lose out on that in case it was another whale vomit situation.
I think I like turn bright red and like choke, I think is what happens.
Oh dear. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. So Marie, don't do that. Don't eat them and turn bright red and choke. That's bad call. Bad call. Yikes. I don't know anything about pepper seeds. All right, folks, if you have any questions, we can take a couple more minutes because we're going to have to figure out the winners of the prizes.
Oh, yeah.
So
you want me to kind of like answer questions over here? What am I doing?
Yeah, we could. I mean, I have a bunch more questions, but I feel like this group may have some wild questions for folks.
Okay, let's go through the questions here. I think if I'm not mistaken, Becca's been making a tally of so what are we doing again? We're doing the best question, right?
Yep. Funniest.
We're doing the funniest question.
And then random.
Oh my gosh, and then something random. Okay, let's see. I don't know. I seem to remember liking the Ogre Trump's Paladin comment. That was a good one. Okay, let's see here. I'm just gonna kind of scroll through here. If any you guys help me out, if there was like some of the highlights, like start throwing them up here. Oh, did somebody say something? I'm at the top of the comments. Here we go.
So you turn red and choke. So Marie was trying to win the blush bonus 4. Clever. Clever. So smart. So smart.
Okay, so we're not disallowing puns. We don't have to disallow puns. I just, I think I was teasing Becca with that one. Least mean cop and bad cop.
That's pretty great.
For that. Okay, so let's see here. All right. Every time I scroll up, there's like new comments at the bottom.
I know. They're so chatty. I love them. The group is fun.
All right, you guys help me out here. Like somebody throw out your best comments again, because like I'm having to scroll up and I have to keep scrolling down. So
be funny again.
Be funny now. To be funny on command.
Right now. J.A. Miller has a question. What portion of the book was that? That was the part of the first chapter of Lorelle of the Dark. Jay, I should have introed it. Should have gone. In a world where Lorelle of the Dark was just released, you will hear.
I thought you were actually reading like the ad copy for a second. I was like, that was a great voice. I love that.
Thank you.
I think you should read the ad copy like that. Here, let's see. I'm going to throw that up in the private chat. I'll throw the ad copy, and then I want you to read it in that voice.
In that voice?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Outstanding. This is going to be great. Okay, you guys are going to get a treat here. She's got a way better radio voice than I do. Okay.
Oh, that's what that is. Who in that voice? You want it in that voice?
Oh,
all right.
Yes. Yes, I do.
In the world of Eldros Legacy, Lorelle is dying. She gave half her soul to save Khyven the Unkillable, and its loss is burning her up from the inside. She only has a matter of days to find Usara's abducted queen before the flames consume her. But as she searches for the mystic key to bring Ren back, she finds only failure. Until a dark elf arrives in Usara, claiming he possesses what she seeks. All she need do is follow him into the forbidding great Noctum and bind herself to the dark. Fleeing Khyven and her friends. Oh, wait. Then it cuts off. We don't know what else is going to happen.
Oh, what?
All I have is fleeing Khyven and her friends floor. It's great. Find out what happens when you buy the book and you read the back, y'all. It's going to be great.
Wait, it totally cut off. Oh, it was like, there must be like a limit. Okay. So, fleeing Khyven and your friends. There you go.
All right. My serious voice back. I can't.
I think you're going to win the blush one. There.
I might. Whew. Fleeing Khyven and her friends, Lorelle embarks on a reckless journey into the heart of a world rife with danger and betrayal. Will the Dark Elf actually lead her to the key? Or has Lorelle become a pawn in the secret war for Noxenon? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Love it.
That's what I got.
That gave me a moment to kind of put some things in the running there. Let's see.
Oh, good times. Oh, I don't know. Quincy just jumped to the front for me. In a world where nobody wears underpants.
Okay,
Very dramatic.
paste it into the private chat. We'll
Okay, awesome.
let's see. I'm
So
looking
good.
back through. Guys, this is a moment for you to come up with something even
Be
funnier,
funny.
even more relevant.
Be funny.
Relevant? What? That should be relevant.
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 We don't have to say words, guys. We write them. We can't use them with our. I'm not going to finish that sentence. It's going to be fine. Not in this group.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a good one.
People are being funny.
Don't be so funny. Okay. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah. So while Todd is pulling together the winners of the giveaway, which y'all we'll have to reshow the prizes at the end. People are again being delightful, but Quincy has the important pitch of go buy an Eldros book now. Now would be good. I would agree. Should definitely do that. Or 5. If you're gonna buy one, you might as well buy 5.
Buy them all. No, this is you have to keep up with this. So
yeah. So just jump in. I mean, Also, so she stole a soul, and as we all know, possession is 9/10 of the law. I like it. In a world. So good.
All right, I think we're gonna have to call this. I don't want to be sitting around all this time. I feel like I needed a better system to choose the winners here. Okay, so here we go.
We were gonna deputize you, Becca, but I think we got distracted. Sorry.
Oh, we did. We got distracted. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever delights you. It is your day. It's your book birthday.
All right. So let's see. I think we've got
here. You know what? I'm gonna give you a minute, Todd, because I'm gonna tell folks what's coming next.
Yes.
Not so much in books because a lot is coming next, and you should be on Rob Howell's newsletter if you aren't already. So buy Lorelle of the Dark. That is important. Go read Khyven first. Come join me and read Khyven if you haven't already. And then we'll read Lorelle together. Tomorrow on CKP, you will see one of the Valkyrie author interviews. This is with the fabulous Jarrell Presby, who will also be at LibertyCon this week. So you can check that out at 6 a.m. tomorrow, but it will be on, from then on. Also this week, I may have mentioned once or 5 times, LibertyCon is happening. Sorry for that off-key singing. Not sorry. We are going to live stream. Jeremy is going to live stream the CKP year ahead. So you'll get to see the boss in action with all of his minions, or many of the minions. That will be June 17th. And then the end of the week, Rob Howell, Eldros founder, is getting hitched to his sweetie. And you will also be able to see the ceremony on YouTube thanks to the powers of Jeremy. I put no work into this. This is all Jeremy. So excited to celebrate them since they will not be at Liberty because they will be busy getting married and being happy. Lots of such exciting stuff happening this week. Then next week, we'll have the after action mystery guests, whoever CKP folks go to LibertyCon, feel free to consider yourself deputized to come to this next week. And we will all talk about it. And I think those are all the big things. It's so exciting. So much is happening. And if you read a book over this last year and you loved it, you should go nominate it for an award. So DragonCon has one of the only fan-driven awards. The Dragon Award nominations are open for just a little bit longer. I think nominations go out in July. DragonCon happens Labor Day weekend. So fan-driven awards only work when fans vote. So it's free to register. You don't have to be going to the con. Go ahead and go do that. Becca is saying Khyven is eligible. So you can do that. So all those books that delighted you over this last year, you can go find a home for some recognition at DragonCon. How is that?
Oh, that was amazing. I think that gave me just enough time. Okay, so I think the best question is going to go to Didn't write down the name. I just wrote down the question. Okay, so somebody's gonna have to tell me who said. So, serious question: how much fun are you having forging a big shared universe? What are the biggest pros and cons between doing shared versus your own creation?
Dan Bridgewater.
Okay, so Dan wins the
Bum, bum.
Unkillable hardback. Or wait, should we do? I don't know. How should we do this? Do we do it in this order, or should we like have him choose? Like if he gets to go first.
Oh.
Let's choose. Why don't you choose? Okay, so did you see all the prizes? Why don't you choose? You get to go first, so you get to choose.
Nice.
Let me know if you haven't seen all the prizes. You know what? I'll go through the prizes all over again.
Go through the prizes.
The case bind of Khyven the Unkillable, signed and personalized if you want it. Really cool thing. Then we have the poster with the moster. That was for you, Becca. It's signed by me, and not just by me, but also by Rashid Alakroka. This is the combined Khyven and Lorelle poster. Okay.
Awesome.
And then lastly, but not leastly, we have the amulet of Noxenon.
It's pretty great, y'all.
Okay. Which one do you want, Dan?
Dan, that's the art. Yeah.
Well, the art. All right. The art is yours.
Woo!
All right. I will make sure you get that. I'm going to put that. Well, we'll just put it right here for now. Okay. So let's see. Next one up. I threw some random ones in, and I pulled out Marisa Wolf.
Yay!
Marisa Wolf. You get to choose. Which would you like? The Khyven the Unkillable or the Amulet of Noxenon?
So cool.
Comes with the chain.
Wrong. Comes with the chain. Oh, man.
Oh, is she still here? Uh-oh. You must be present to win. So if you're not here.
Oh, no, she was. Oh, she's here. She's here. The book. The book, she says. The book.
Look, okay. All right. So I will sign this and mail it out to you. Are you friends with me on Facebook? Because probably the easiest way to do it is to just message me on Facebook. If so, let me know. She said the book. Marie's jumping in to help her out.
We're on a little bit of a delay, I think. I'm sorry.
So, Melissa, can you tell me if we're friends on Facebook? Oh, we are on a bit of delay. Haley's like, she's here. All of the morally upstanding people in the audience is like fighting for Melissa. I'll friend you. Okay, cool. You friend me. I'll get your address. I'll mail this out to you. All right.
Melissa's also a great author, founders. Just saying, I mean, I've already stolen her for like 3 projects, so you can't have her yet. But just as you look for a cohort authors, she's pretty great.
Nice. Okay, Melissa, that you know what that means. Noxenon.
Here to help, y'all. Here to help.
All right. So the final is the humorous one. Okay. So let's see. So who I think this was Dan. So Dan can't win again. But who quoted Khyven? This is how I do diplomacy. If you don't like it, you should have sent someone else. Who was that?
Oh, that might have been Mark. I wonder. You know what? The chat will tell us in 5 to 10 seconds, but it'll be fine. Also, Marie is already poaching. You know what?
That's right. I mean,
Melissa,
you throw a cohort author in the middle of the Eldros group, and it's like
blood in the water. Pretty great. Melissa and Marie, I think you guys would really enjoy it.
Okay, that was Dan. Okay, so Dan's not going to win again, but I appreciated the quote. I do like that quote. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. Well, the one that made me laugh was this dance-off will end with 2 thrown out backs, but Becca already has an amulet, so I think we're going to pass on that one. That's worth noting. And then I think Dan said the Fahnestock I can bury blood feud, so many lives senselessly lost. So, all right, we may have to do another random one. Who else? I got it, because I think all those people have won already. There was another one, but I think that was also by Dan. Yeah, Becca made that sucker, so we can't. We're not going to hand that.
Becca, you are a genius. I am obsessed with that pendant. It's so cool.
All right, let's see. Just for the record, I've been watching this clown show.
Hi, Steve. Welcome. So glad Steve,
I think you just won yourself an amulet. So I'll get this to you. You get the amulet. And for anybody who actually really wants an amulet, just reach out to me. I mean, I am selling these things. So if you're a cohort author, the coin is just $10. So if you want one, you can still get one. So, but I think, Steve, I think you earned that one. If, as far as I know, you don't have a Noxodon coin yet. So
That's awesome. That was an all caps yes. That's what I like to hear. Well done, Steve.
All right.
Swoop in.
Thank you all so much. This has been a hoot. What else have we got on the docket? Are we through the?
I think we are free. I think we can let loose our shenanigan. No, let loose the people in the group. They could go forth and read. So you all are rock stars. Todd, thank you so much for sharing your book launch with us. This is awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to get to that book and read it.
You're gonna enjoy it. All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. This has just been such I mean, like, I've never interacted with the chat like this before, and I'm going to do that every single time from now on out. That was a blast.
It's so much fun. It's so great. So thank you, Jeremy, for producing us and getting this together. Y'all, this was a delight. Thank you all for coming here and spending the night with us. I don't know, whatever, words still matter. So if you have not already, you can see the link to buy Lorelle of the Dark in the bottom of the YouTube page. Jeremy has made sure it's there. And while you're there, you might as well like and subscribe, because we're going to have more videos like this. I feel like all the founders should probably do interviews. And just saying, if they wanted to make cohort pitches for other authors and readers, they should maybe do an interview. I'm just spitballing.
I think that you should. Absolutely, you should, because I'm looking forward to being in the chat and doing to you what you did to me.
The best. So Inside CKP is brought to you by Chris Kennedy Publishing. The boss was here with us for a bit. He might still be here. We don't know. He is the best. And so he makes sure that you all get this access to authors on a semi-regular basis. So we are so grateful for him. He also has a Patreon. If you want to keep the boss in business, you buy books, Patreon him, whatever you want. And that's what we've got tonight. You all are rock stars. Thank you so much for being here with us, and we'll catch you next time.